Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick on the line.
Victory Tuesday.
Victory Tuesday. Let me give you the quick intro why I got the big box. Obviously, NFL Week 1. The NFL's back. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on. There were some blowouts. We got our takes there. We're going to talk Bears. Crazy comeback in the fourth. We'll talk Trubisky. We're going to talk Brady. He struggled. Was it the first game, no training camp, playing in New Orleans, or is it a carryover from last year? We'll talk about that. Ravens roll. They look sensational. We'll talk about that. We'll talk all NFL. Then we got to get into the NBA. Bubble playoffs. Game 7 tonight. Clippers, Nuggets. How did we get here?
How? I didn't even bother watching Sunday. Remember in the group chat, I was like, wait, the Clippers lost? I was like, this is over with. I thought, man.
How did we get here? We're going to talk about that.
Big Ron chilling with the vino right
Ron
now.
Is sipping vino by the pool.
Big glass.
We'll talk about that, and then we'll give out some salutes for Week 1 in the NFL. Anything else we want to touch on? Let's get it going. Big Nick the Quick. What's happening?
Oh man, lovely.
It's Week 1.
Lovely.
Man.
What a weekend. What a Sunday. You know what I'm
saying?
I know you and I both got up early Sunday to catch the Formula One. Shout out our boy Lewis Hamilton.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby, all day. So got up early, did that, man, and then just really eased into the day. I didn't think this day was gonna come, man. I didn't think Sunday was gonna happen. I was the biggest, most skeptical person about any of these leagues restarting. So shout out to the NFL and their 0 positive tests. None. Somehow Roger Goodell and them boys have figured out what the leaders of the world have not.
Nah, they don't got no positive tests, bro.
In 30 cities, no positive tests. So it's all
at
good,
all.
Man. So let us know, Roger. Let us in.
At all, bro.
Yeah, okay. What I tell you the other day, they got the same test that Florida and them boys is administering. The SEC testing kit.
Exactly, bro.
False positive. Man, it was a lovely day though, man. How was yours? What'd you do at the crib? Feet up?
I literally at the crib, feet up. I got a workout in the morning. I went out and took a walk. I got on the Peloton. I've been on that pretty heavy, so I did that. And then it was really, really nice out, and the lady was trying to get me to do stuff, and I'm like, look, I sat on the couch all day. And I drank beers from 11:30 casually and I had action on Rams Cowboys.
So you had to go through the night.
Exactly. So I was sitting there chilling. I got a sandwich for noon. I had beers at 11. I was having beers before I started eating.
Me too.
So I had beers at 11. I had a sandwich at 12. I watched the Bears, obviously. Kicked it up. Then I watched Bucs Saints. Ordered a pizza. And watched Rams the Cowboys.
Love it. Hey, at which point did you take your Sunday game nap? I'm usually second quarter of the second game, or did you make it all the way through?
I was good. I know that feeling.
Like this little doze off.
You know what it was? It was that I had action on Saints Bucks, and that was such a good game. It was a very intriguing matchup.
Through it.
Yeah, I had to make sure I was good and watch that. So
if I go too heavy on the brews during the first game, that second game, I'll take I call it the second quarter stretch.
Yeah,
you know
I didn't go too crazy. I probably had like 6 or 7 beers throughout the whole day. So it wasn't anything too crazy.
Right.
It was back. It was awesome. I tweeted out late last night before we get into the Bears that my main NFL Week 1 takeaway is that all the teams that were weak as fuck last year are weak as fuck this year.
Yep.
Jets are weak as fuck.
Falcons.
The Falcons are weak. The Lions are weak. I hate throwing, dirt on the Dolphins because they got a black head coach and a black GM, but they looked weak. Where's Tua?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Stop it with this.
We're good. Just go ahead. We saw everything you needed to.
So many years of this of like not playing the rookie quarterback is just really blows my mind. I don't understand.
And you know who benefits from it every year? It's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. I'd like to see his career earnings. Ryan Fitzpatrick might have made $100 million doing this.
So
like Matt Castle.
Yeah, that was my week one takeaway. Just like I was watching last night, and I'm like, all these teams are weak.
Yeah,
the Browns weak,
super weak.
Dude, they're weak.
They're super weak. They might go 2-14. that squad is weak.
So that squad is weak, right?
Who's the Browns head coach?
I don't know.
Okay,
not Freddie Kitchens.
Not Freddie Kitchens.
You know,
is he coaching high school football? What's he doing right now?
Freddie Kitchens is counting his money up. That's what he's doing. What you mean? What is he doing? He counting his money up.
All that. Not even know what I was doing out there.
Right. He's doing whatever he wants to do. Honestly, man, if I was one of those guys and I coached for maybe not Freddie Kitchens, but like, and you were still really into coaching and wanted to make an impact, take all those millions, go find a dope ass high school team
and kick it.
No stress. Impact the kids.
Build a big ass ranch somewhere in Central Texas. Yeah, I mean.
So, yeah.
Churn out a bunch of Longhorns.
Exactly, man. It just impact the community. Yep. Like you don't need to be on First Take every week getting ripped.
No, it's not.
Or on no catch up getting ripped.
It's not worth. It's not worth it.
Take your 20 mil and go relax.
Do the Bill Cowher.
Exactly. All right, let's get into it. Week one. We got to start with the hometown Bears. And I'm gonna get a mic to you. The first three, hey, listen, I'll have to do a recap of what happened. The Bears it was 23-6?
Yeah.
Going into the fourth. And we were getting smoked.
I was ready to turn the game off.
Hey, without doubt.
I was like, there's nothing about this team that says 17-point comeback.
Hey, actually, really quick, like that 17 might as well have been 40 points.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Like, there's 17. How are we gonna get 17 points?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you how is the pick, but we'll get into it.
And a little help from Matt Patricia.
Yes, yeah, that guy stinks.
Awful.
very,
Stealing money.
Very confident. Yeah,
definitely a West Texas ranch candidate.
So this is the thing, right? Let's just get into it and we'll break it all down. But y'all saw what happened. Any NFL, I know all my Chicago folks saw it. We go into the fourth. We got to make a huge comeback to come back. A huge comeback to come back, and we made the comeback, got the W. Trubisky throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And like you said, real quick, I was ready to turn it off, and honestly, I was trying to like Jimmy rig the NFL Red Zone off of a stream, and I couldn't get it to work. So I couldn't get it wasn't running on the computer. So I had to literally hop on my Xfinity and order the Red Zone for the $10 a month, like in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, you didn't have the package. I was wondering. I was like, all you gotta do is log into Xfinity on the computer. Or I would have turned it off.
Yeah. So by the second game, I had ordered the Red Zone and I was good. But yeah, or I would have turned it off.
So you had no other options.
Yeah, I was just
there was no Fox. There was no CBS game. Yeah.
Right. Okay, give me your thoughts on the comeback, the overall game. Mitch Trubisky, lay it out for me.
Yeah, so let's get the negativity out of the way from the very jump here. Obviously, overall, if you look at that game, it does not bode well for our future. I think you can't rely on what happened in the fourth quarter to happen again. I think from a defensive standpoint, I was really concerned about the pass rush, the lack of pass rush, the lack of Khalil Mack. Where is that pressure going to come from? Seemed like Stafford had a lot of time to kind of do whatever he wanted to. So that was concerning. Offensively, obviously, for 3.5 quarters, just nothing, especially from the quarterback position. There were times that he looked worse than last year, right? There were times that just looked like a quarterback that just didn't improve anything on his accuracy, anything on his touch. He's still overthrowing guys, underthrowing guys. He threw maybe 2 or 3 near interceptions, balls that had every right to be picked off and taken back to the house. So, with that being said, that to me were the 2 big negatives, the lack of pass rush and Mitch Trubisky overall. What I did like is, hey, man, the offensive line looked good. That was one of my biggest key concerns of the Bears coming in this year. Was there was a lot of talk about the quarterback, a lot of talk about everything else, but one of the biggest problems that we had last year was our inability to run block and pass block. And I thought that those guys did a great job. So shout out the new offensive line coach. So far, so good. Then we got to the fourth quarter, man. Look, I'm critical of Mitch. You're critical of Mitch. The whole town is critical of Mitch. But you cannot sit here and say that he didn't do what was necessary to win the game. Obviously, we got some help on the missed field goal. We got some help on the pick, all those things. But he took advantage of those opportunities. He threw an absolute strike to Anthony Miller, absolute strike to Javon Wims, and operated with a lot of urgency, man. Like, I can't knock it. Now, if you want to nitpick, you can say, hey, he was playing against the Lions like sixth-string cornerback, because they had lost all their DBs on an already atrocious defense. So I don't even know where the Lions had found some of these guys that they were playing with the other day, because this is the true bottom of the barrel of NFL defensive backs. But again, man, that's out of his control, right? All he could do at that point in the game was control what he can control, and he absolutely 100% did it. But I am not ready to turn that around and be like, yo, Mitch Trubisky has turned the corner. Absolutely not. No way. You can't rely on that happening every week. But I'm going to take my hat off to him, man. I got to give him credit. He did exactly what you needed to. To your point, I thought that game was over. When the Fuller pick happened, that's when I was like, oh, shit, okay, this might be something. And again, he took advantage of it, man. But he's still ass.
You gonna close it?
Yeah.
You gonna close it?
Well,
like
because
that?
I don't want, because I feel like the narrative for some people, because there are some people who really, and it's not that we want him to fail, but there are people who like disproportionately want him to succeed. And obviously we do. Like, if he succeeds, the team succeeds, but they're going to say like, hey, this is a turning point. Look at the resiliency. Look at the bounce back. This isn't the first time we've seen him kind of bounce back late in the game and have some huge plays, right? He did this last year too. But you can't play terrible for 75% of the game at the quarterback position and then all of a sudden, turn around and have us change how it is. It's not like a basketball player having, a bad shooting for 3 quarters and getting hot in the fourth. It's a little bit different when you're playing quarterback. We should have won. We should have been winning that game.
Let me start by saying this. People always think, no matter what, that we're hating on Mitch Trubisky or we're hating on, no matter what. You know what I hear a lot, like when I talk to the Trubisky truthers or I'm on Twitter going back and forth with people, is that no matter what he does, you guys just don't like him and you think this and that. He comes back and wins. You guys have something to say. He does. He plays a good game. It's not good enough. Listen, the reason we were in a position to be down 23-6 is because that was some of the worst football I've seen from Mitch Trubisky in a slew of bad football. I am not going to praise a guy for digging out of a hole that he dug for himself. He's digging out of a hole. Dude, that was some of the worst football I've ever seen in the first 3 quarters on the offensive end. I'm going to tell you this. Absolutely nothing has changed for me with Mitch Trubisky. All the things that were question marks coming into the year, for the first 3 quarters of the game, were question marks. It was like, I thought they were going to put Foles in at halftime. Like, this is exactly what we don't want to happen. His footwork is terrible. It breaks down. Anytime he gets any type of pressure, his footwork breaks down. He's fading away on balls. His accuracy is not there. And
non-existent.
These are not new stories, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's fine. Like you said about last year, I do think it's interesting that it seems like when they're down and he just has to kind of go out and do whatever, he plays better. And it like, this is that shit where you go back and look at the numbers and you're like, oh, he had a good game. It's like, bro, if you watch the game, he played like shit the entire game.
Like, terrible.
Yeah. So it's interesting that when they're down and it's like, looks like we don't have a shot to win, he comes out and starts to play better. I don't know if that's just Nagy needs to let those couple. We've had this same conversation as well. Does Nagy need to just let the cuffs off of him early and let him just throw the ball early? Or
I didn't think he was cuffed in that game. I don't think that Nagy had him cuffed at all. If you look at some of those throws, he wasn't cuffed in that game at all, man. I mean, he was still throwing the ball downfield. He just wasn't getting it to anybody. So I don't think that Nagy needs to take the cuffs off him or give him more freedom early on, because all he's done is shown you that he can't handle that freedom and that he can't make the plays that are necessary, man. Like you said, for 3 quarters, it was terrible football, right? He wasn't getting it done. He was overthrowing receivers. He was inaccurate. There was a lack of confidence. It's always bad when they go to the sidelines and they show the defensive players and the other guys comforting the receivers, right? So I think we might have lost Sean here, but it's always it's always bad. I think we lost your audio, but it's always bad when it's always bad when you look at the sidelines and you see the DBs. At one point, I saw someone comforting Cole Kmet and a couple other guys, and it's like, we know your quarterback sucks, man. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna try to get you guys a win. Just hang in there. So again, man, that was a bad look just overall. For Mitch Trubisky. So we're not haters. We're not anti-Mitch Trubisky. We're just going to call it like we see it. And the fact of the matter is, like, though he looked good in the 4th quarter, you need the other 3 quarters of the game to win a football game. You can't just expect to have these crazy ass 4th quarter comebacks define you as a football team. So overall, man, played like shit. Does not look better. Not sure what they saw in the offseason competition. And all it tells me is that Nick Foles must have been truly trash buckets in the offseason program. You still there? Yeah. So I don't really know. And the thing with him, man, it's like it's hard to sit up here and be like, well, this is what he needs to build on. And, this was good and he can improve on that. It was just overall all bad. Where are we at here? Am I getting my cowherd on right now?
You got me?
Yeah, I gave him some great Bears insight. But for him going, the thing that worries about with me, and it's kind of the same feeling that I felt last year, it's that when you look at, okay, what does he need to do going forward? There's so many things. Right? There's so many things. And I don't think you improve on what he needs to improve on a week-to-week basis. The stuff that he needs to improve on can only happen in the offseason. And clearly over the last 3 off seasons, he hasn't made those improvements. Okay, so
my bad. I'm back full go now. My fault, G. I didn't mean to leave you hanging like that.
I kept it rolling, man. That was monologue.
You was doing your thing.
Some of my best work.
Yeah.
100%. Pretty much. Yeah, all I talked about was just going forward. What's he going to do, and how do we fix this, man? We can't.
Well, this is the thing.
This is our guy.
It's
And how bad was Nick Foles in the offseason? How bad could he have possibly been?
Listen. We won't even get into Nick Foles because he's not the quarterback right now. But he never had a shot, is what it seems like to me. Like. I don't know what else to say about it. He was kind of stacked up against him. They wanted to give Trubisky a shot. They gave him a shot. And that's where we're at. Because there's no way he's not a better quarterback than Mr. Trubisky. Mr. Trubisky is very – hey, and let's get this straight. The Lions are garbage.
Garbage defensively, especially. When they showed that stat, they were dead last in every single defensive category last year. And you were playing against 7th-string corners.
So we should – let's get this straight. I'm glad we won. Big W. Get the season off with a win. Any other team we'll just start with the division. They bury us. They lose their best linebacker by one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
That was the Jamie Collins thing.
Yeah, him hitting the ref in the chest with his helmet. That was dumb. And did the ref flop? Sure, but you can't touch the ref at all. So
I don't know what he was trying to
prove. I understand he's trying to show.
What that reminds me of? One time I was something had happened, right, and I was explaining something to a police officer about what had happened in the incident, and I demonstrated to him about what had happened, right. And it was one of those moments where he was cool, so shit didn't pop up, but he looked at me, he's like, "Look, man, you ever do some shit like that again, right. I have to react. You can't come that close to me." And I was like, my bad, bro. I was just trying to show you what happened. But you can't do it, man. You can't do that, bro.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. Any other team, a majority of the league, you go down 23-6 in the going into the fourth, you're dead. So I'm not going to give this guy, Mitch Trubisky, a ton of credit for pulling himself out of a hole that he dug. Was a major reason why we were down 23-6. Period. Nothing's changed about Mitch Trubisky. Every single question mark I had about number 10, I still have today. That's where we're at. Yeah. And when we bump into a better, folks, that is one of the worst teams in the NFC.
Especially defense. It's the worst defensive team in the NFL.
Yes, like that.
And they were down 3 corners.
And they were down 3 corners and
the linebacker.
And we were anemic the first 3 quarters of the game. So did we get a little momentum and score a couple touchdowns in the fourth? Yeah, sure. Good W. Yes. W in the NFL is a W, but I don't want to hear anything about Trubisky's like the one or none of that. Every question mark I had about Mitch, I still have, and we'll continue to go forward.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Because I heard some people actually say it was a good Nagy game, which to me, I couldn't believe it, especially with the play calling before halftime. That 3-and-out at the end of the first half was some of the most atrocious play calling some of the worst situational football I've ever seen in my entire life. 14 seconds on 3 plays with a minute and a half left going into halftime. You give them the ball back and they score.
Like, honestly, that like I said, anybody but the Detroit Lions, that seals our fate.
Yeah. Well, they still scored. I mean, they scored.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But like, you make a mistake like that and give up some points before the half like that when you really reason. Don't have to.
Yeah.
A good football teams you're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was bad. Is the question, was it a good Nagy game?
How do you feel? So we had obviously question marks about Nagy last year, especially the second half of the year, right? And his play calling.
Yeah.
Overall, where were you with Nagy in this game? I know it's hard to rate with Mitch Trubisky as your quarterback because a lot of plays that seem like they're good just can't be executed. But
yeah. I thought it was an okay game. That was a major mistake before the half. I like the mix of the run. He didn't completely just come out. Listen, like we talk about all the time, it like hurts his heart when a running call comes out of his mouth. He can barely get it out of his mouth, right? So like for him to give up some carries and get our boy Cordell Patterson involved like he did.
Came to play.
And for him, his willingness to get him involved and run the football and be willing to, straight up treat him like a running back.
Which is what he is. I thought it was funny when that announcement came out over the office, like, Cordell Patterson be used exclusively at running back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure man hasn't caught a pass in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't caught a pass.
Kickoffs, right?
Yeah, he hasn't caught a pass in South Carolina, so I think it wasn't news to him.
Right.
But he came to play, man. I give him a game ball for sure.
Yeah. So I was excited, and he did what he was supposed to do with the mix. In the fourth quarter, it looked like he called some stuff he called plays that were working, and Mitch executed on them. So I mean, it was an okay game. He stuck with it. It's an okay game. But there's still a couple mistakes that before the half mistake was bad.
You can't do that in the NFL.
Yeah, so
you can't do that in the NFL.
I'm not going to say it was a good Nagy game, but it was an okay Nagy game.
Where you at on the D?
It's suspect.
Lack of pass rush was glaring.
Listen. Their pass rush was non-existent.
Non-existent.
I know Khalil Mack is void of any slander, but he hasn't been around. I don't know where he is. I didn't see him the other night. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But he was not in Detroit.
Donde está Khalil?
And I'll say this. Akeem Hicks wasn't in Detroit either until he got a sack.
Yeah.
He got 1 sack. He made 1 play. He wasn't really around either. I got Kenyon Perry in the chat said, will the Bears sign a nose tackle? Probably not, because we paid so much money for. I don't know if you mean like a big time.
Eddie Goldman was our nose tackle, and he opted out. So when he opted out, does his salary count against us this year? Because he was making $8 million. So that is a good question. Because if we could 100%.
We could use that 8.
But you know what I think it is, man? I think those dudes are so valuable and they're extremely valuable in the NFL. And I don't think they're around. Like, who was the dude the Steelers had forever? They just kept paying him. Put him in the middle. Was it Hayward? No, is it not Hayward? Some dude. It was they had one of those nose tackles.
You're talking about nose tackles.
Yeah, but those guys, you don't let them go in this defense. They're too valuable.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if we can find him. I hope so, though. Yeah.
But it does look like we need some more depth. Quinn didn't play.
Nope.
He was game time.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. It was some type of injury. Lower body.
Lower body
Body injury. So Robert Quinn didn't play. We needed the pass rush. The defense looks suspect, bro.
Very
simple
suspect.
as that. I always back those guys because I do think the offense puts them in a lot of bad positions. Like before the half, they literally just walked off the field.
That touchdown's not on them. Yeah, that 20-second break.
And walked right back on, and they were right back up to it. So, we'll see, man. We gotta get a pass rush going. Kyle Fuller's a dog. The rookie didn't really show me anything too much, but
Jalen Johnson?
Yeah, Jalen.
I thought he was okay.
He was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Eddie Jackson was back there doing his thing.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Jackson forced that pick, right?
No, it was I don't know who got the tip on it.
Okay.
But no, yeah, Eddie was in the back, I'm pretty sure. But either way,
Jack.
The defense needs to play better. And I know we never like to give them slander, but they need to play better, and they need to play better. Because I understand we were in a dome and we were playing against a good offense, and
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. We'll see. But yeah, they need to play better. We need to get pressure on the quarterback. Pressure on the quarterback creates turnovers. That's where we really eat boys up. And Kenyon Perry said Goldman's salary does not count against the cap.
Okay.
Which would make sense, right? Like, why would it count against the cap if he said he's not going to play? So why would?
But the $21 million that we're paying Nick Foles does count against the cap, correct?
Yeah, that does count against the cap.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Just want to get that out there.
Okay. Any other comments on the Bears before we get over to Brady and the Buccaneers?
Nope. Just want to give a shout out Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson, Cordero Patterson, O-line, obviously. Yeah, those are my game balls for sure. Guys that came out to play. Boy A. Miller came out ready, focused. A lot of the problems that he had last year, which I think was due to like a lack of focus, it seemed like he's ready. He's trying to get the cheese in the offseason, it looks like. And Allen Robinson is a professional football player. Free A-Rob or get him a quarterback.
Allen Robinson is a number 1 wide receiver. That's it. He might not be – he's not in the ilk of DeAndre Hopkins and Julio.
Well, who is?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So he's a number 1
second tier. Yeah, he's a number 1 right out. Comes to play, busts his ass. So shout out to him. But yeah, overall, if I'm giving the Bears a grade, it's a C-.
Yeah. Passed, but barely.
C's get degrees though. C's are going to get us about 4 wins this year. 4
passed.
Updated projections. My preseason projections were 3-13. Updated projections 3-13.
I'm not going there, but very mediocre.
Savor this one.
Yeah, it's a very mediocre team.
Last call on W's for the Bears.
But you know what the funny thing is? I mean, we got the Giants next week. They looked like shit last night at home.
Yeah, they got Saquon.
So what?
Professional football player.
They looked bad. So we got them at home next week. We should be able to get a W there. Next thing you know, we're 2-0. So we'll see. Optimistic. Let's move over to Brady. Struggled.
Well, didn't we talk about that? Didn't you hear this on the No Catch Up podcast last week?
He's not just going to show up in a new team with all new players in a new system in New Orleans and spray them.
It's just not going to happen. Like, we forgot that he was playing against the New Orleans Saints in the Dome.
Yeah, me and you had the Saints in the pick'em.
That was the easiest. It was easy. It was free money.
I agree.
Was it -3? If you get the Saints, like it was 3.5. Like, come on, stop it.
Yeah,
listen, man. At home, anything with the Saints, I'm comfortable with the Saints under 6 points at home. Really, against pretty much anybody.
Whoever.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. I don't care the team. Like, I will rock with the Saints if it's 6 and under all day.
This is the thing, bro.
Just like the Broncos last night. Give me points in Mile High. I don't give a fuck if Drew Lock's at quarterback or not. That was easy.
Yeah. I mean, well,
4 missed field goals.
I don't want. Yeah, I was just gonna say. I don't know if you should be puffing your chest like that.
How do you miss it? How do you miss it Mile High? By the way,
yo,
there's no air.
He wasn't even coming close.
Hey, all them boys that left the Patriots just fell apart, huh? Bill's like, I told you guys.
Told you, it's all me.
Goskowski, trash.
Patriot way. Yeah. I knew we could let him go. He sucked.
Yeah, he sucked.
Brady finished.
Terrible.
So, listen, this was one of those games, especially in the pick'em, and I took them personally just on a single.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where if the Bucs showed up and beat the Saints in New Orleans, fans or no fans, I was just going to take that L.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll give up the 3, and Brady comes out with no preseason and is just throwing peas all over the place. Then I'll just take the L and keep it moving.
You'll never be mad at that.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a rule. It's a rule. Saints 3.5, take it to the house.
Yeah. 3.5 is a funky number. But, yeah, I'll take them to win in New Orleans a lot of the time. Did you watch that game?
Parts of it, yeah. I was kind of flipping between that and Red Zone.
Kamara looked good off the money.
Looked great off the money. Off the money.
Off the money. And then boys, but yo, I need to see stats of people what the stats look like coming off like the first week off the bread.
Off the bread.
Like they have to be sparkling.
Yeah.
Unless you're Kirk Cousins.
He walked in feeling great.
Like sensational. So
like Alvin, how you doing? Excellent.
How you doing, Alvin? Great.
I'm great. How are you?
Let me give you this. Do the Bucs? When do you? Let me ask you this. Actually, when do you start to panic? Period. On like when if you were a Bucs fan, when would you start to be worried? If Brady comes out next week and struggles, when is your personal panic button when you think that a team is going to be good and all of a sudden it's week 5 and you're like, oh my God, maybe we're not good?
So are we to assume that there are actually fans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yes. Shout out Warren Sapp.
Just want to make sure that there are Tampa Bay Bucs fans out there. Man, I think you never want to go down at 0-2.
That's when it starts to get.
You never want to go down 0-2 because at that point you're way behind the 8 ball and you're playing catch up just to get back to above 500, right? You got to win 2 straight to be at 500 at that point. You really got to get to 3-2. So I would never like to drop that second game, especially if it's a second game where they look as bad as they did in the first game, because there's a lot of things they need to improve on. Overall, Brady didn't look comfortable. And again, man, a lot of this was that hype. Like when they start hyping up Gronk, I'm like, listen, man, Gronk, his last year in New England was finished. Like his body was broken down. They would save him up until like week 13 and then let him go for the playoffs. But this wasn't some dude who was, out here running a 4.5 and putting up crazy numbers and healthy. I mean, he was hurt. His body he had to walk away from football. It wasn't just Bill Belichick. Like I think the Bill Belichick aspect gets way too much credit as to why Gronk stopped playing.
I don't know about that.
The man was falling apart.
He'd been falling apart, forever.
Yeah. But so that if they look bad like that again next week, I wonder how you kind of fix that just due to the lack of an offseason program and kind of building that continuity that you weren't able to do. I think it's going to be hard for them. And that's why you see a team like the Saints rolling. If you're rolling in with what you had last year, you already built that continuity. When you're trying to put it together on the fly in a year like this, it's going to be tough for them. Now, they could easily come out next week and Brady tosses 4 touchdowns and it looks great. But again, we're talking about a 43-year-old quarterback here who has been operating at a comfort level really for the past 10 years. And now you take him out of that. And again, new building. Yo, the guy he hands his suitcase to when he walks into the tunnel, it's a different guy. The valet is a different guy. The food is different. All that stuff, when you're talking about someone and you look at him, he's very routine based. right? Like this is a routine-oriented person. You don't have that level of success if you're not operating off of a strict routine. I guarantee he wakes up every day at the same time, eats the same shit. So doing all that does throw off your routine, man. You know what I mean? It throws off the little equilibrium you got in your head or whatever. So I think that all that matters. And you can't just put together super teams in the NFL, man. It doesn't work that way.
It's not hoops.
It's not hoops, man.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to do in basketball, but again, talent at the end of the day can trump a lot in the NBA. In the NFL, it doesn't matter. Less talented teams, Patriots have showed you don't necessarily need the most talented guys. You can out scheme guys. And again, man, like they don't necessarily have that. And look, we all love Bruce Arians. Seems like a good guy, has a lot of fun, but he hasn't won shit as a head coach.
Yeah,
you know, he has. It's not like he knows how to. It's not like Bruce Arians is like, oh, I'm going to put this all together because I know what it takes. He's still learning how to be a successful head coach too. So all that, man. I thought the hype was crazy on this team, and I didn't understand why. Like when they signed Fournette, someone was like, "Oh my God, is this the Warriors?" I'm like, "What are we talking about here? This dude just got fucking cut." He got cut from carries like that. He got cut from the worst team in the NFL. Like, what are we talking about here?
He's not even the best back on that team.
He's okay. Like Leonard Fournette, he was great in college. I mean, come on, man.
He's a good back.
He's a fine back. He's fine.
Back. Yeah.
You can find a couple other ones. They're all over the place.
Okay, so we'll see how. I mean,
where are you at? I mean, are you a 0-2 or does it need to be 0-3 for you?
I've seen people come back from 0-2. 0-2 is tough, but it depends how they look, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different 0-2s. Like you could come out and say they lose next week, the Buccaneers, and it was a super tight game, but they blew it at the end. I know it's still 0-2, but they lost to the Saints in New Orleans and then had a tough game and lost at home. So 0-3, almost impossible to come back from.
Forget about it.
It's almost impossible to come back from 0-3.
Knowing you got to play the Saints again.
0-3 is tough, especially when you're in a tough division like they're in.
Okay, Atlanta sucks, but Atlanta can't beat you.
Atlanta,
on the right day, if they play well, they'll beat you.
Atlanta stinks. They will put up 40 on you and will beat you 40-35 in a week just because they have a quarterback. They got skill players. And
they have a quarterback.
Right.
It sucks, but they have a quarterback.
Exactly. So, it's funny because every week the line against the Falcons is always like, man, I should give this up, but you don't because they're spooky.
Can I ask you a question?
Like weekly, the Falcons are spooky on a weekly basis.
Let me ask you a question. If he retires at the end of the year, is Matt Ryan a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Absolutely fucking not.
NFL MVP?
Absolutely not.
All right.
For me, no.
Let me ask you this then: Will he make the Hall of Fame? Phillip Rivers is going to make the Hall of Fame. They love
probably. Phillip Rivers stinks.
So Matt Ryan, 50,000 passing yards, 323 touchdowns, 148 picks, career passer rating of 94.6.
I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of this hangs on Eli Manning.
Eli's getting in.
Eli has 2 Super Bowls and he's getting in, but people are talking. But like, there's people out there that don't think he should get in.
Well, his overall career is not Hall of Fame worthy, but if you can get in the Hall of Fame for 2 games, 2 playoff runs, he's in there.
Man, listen,
he's in.
Being a Hall of Fame quarterback for me is that's like the pinnacle of football.
Right. Of course.
Phillip Rivers, not for me. For what? For what? Why? He doesn't own any records. He wins 8 games every year, doesn't do shit in the playoffs, doesn't go to the Super Bowl. Why is he a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Runs around and yells a lot.
Why would he be a Hall of Fame quarterback? Like, what isn't the criteria winning a lot of football games, winning championships, and putting up big time numbers?
So wouldn't that be Matt Ryan? Wouldn't that be Matt Ryan then?
Listen, do you know who gets in the Hall of Fame that doesn't win Super Bowls?
Well, yeah,
Dan Marino. Those these guys, those were generational talents that, you know what I'm saying? Phillip Rivers is not that. And this is me speaking for me. No, Phillip Rivers is not that. Phillip Rivers is not very good quarterback, regular season over a span. He had a couple teams that won 12 games. That's about it.
Now, going through these Matt Ryan numbers, I don't know. But he's going to be one of those people that people will look back at the numbers and be like, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. But if you actually live through the Matt Ryan experience,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. That's actually exactly right.
Yeah, like I've lived through the Matt Ryan experience. He has never scared me.
You look like if some kid in London picked up the newspaper and read the Trubisky line, like, oh, Trubisky had a good ass game.
Great quarterback.
He did not.
Yeah.
So yeah, those conversations can go on forever. The Hall of Fame stuff, but no, not for me.
We need to get an ATL representative on here that can come and tell us why Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer.
They don't even.
Does he get love? You think he gets? Oh, he probably didn't even get love in the city like that. They don't know you like that.
I'm sure he gets a little like half and half.
Yeah, not like Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Matt Ryan can win you a Super Bowl with he has to have a lot of help around him, just like anybody else. Apparently
not. If you spot him 18 points, he still can't win you a Super Bowl. So
that was a lot of coaching. That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's talk about the Ravens real quick before we get to this NBA, because the NBA we're probably going to talk about for about 20 minutes. Can a team like the Ravens be underrated? Because that's how I feel.
I mean, there's so much hype on the Chiefs right now that, like, yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Compared to how much love the Chiefs get, the Ravens don't get that love, and the Ravens smash motherfuckers all the time.
But we talk about it all the time, man. And if you don't get it done in the playoffs, you're never gonna. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If you don't get it done in the playoffs, you're not gonna get talked about it like that. And the fact of the matter is, the last 2 years they've had great regular seasons. The last 2 years, Lamar Jackson's been lights out. And the last 2 years, they've went home after their first playoff game.
Well, no, 2 years ago he wasn't lights out. He was still getting his feet together.
He was getting better.
Yeah, he was getting better.
You knew you didn't see MVP last year coming, but you knew he was gonna.
Yeah, but
the questions about whether or not he was gonna be a successful NFL quarterback were getting answered.
His first real season was last year. He won the MVP. He looked sensational last year. He looked really good the other day in Cleveland.
But you know my point. The fact if you're not winning in the playoffs, you're not gonna get that kind of love.
Right. But what I'm saying is I think they might deserve it. I know Cleveland's kind of weak, but 38-6, I think.
Yeah, but Cleveland's trash.
Yeah, but 38-6.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
as they should.
Yeah. So, man, they're deep. They're trouble. There's tons of superlatives you could use for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They took care of business. You have any comments on the Browns and Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr.?
Baker likes to give the ball to the other team, and that's a problem in the NFL. The talent's there. I've always his attitude to me hasn't been an issue. I like my quarterback to have some personality. Does he go a little too far? Probably. You know, I'm also big on like having success before you're an asshole. But
I was just gonna say that his attitude is there and his game is not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good with the attitude.
Yeah, the attitude doesn't bother me.
That's the kind of attitude you need to have, but
he sucks.
Yeah,
and he sucks since last year.
Yeah, you also can't turn the ball over and do what he did. And you know what it is too, bro? It's really tough when you have a really good rookie year, and then you come out the following year and you look worse. It's always attributed to like your mindset. You're doing too many commercials.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have a bad rookie year, it's like, he's a rookie. And then year two, you do well. You're like, see, I told you he was going to come on. When you have a good rookie year and then you start doing commercials and start doing all this other shit, and then your second year, your sophomore season, you come out and you're not very good. It's always contributed to like, he's out in the street. He's doing too many commercials.
It's like you gave away your mulligan by having a good rookie year, exactly. And you can't use it in year two.
Exactly.
No, I would be like we're talking about fan level concern. I would be at peak. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you've been at peak concern your whole life. But I would be at peak level concern of this isn't going to get any better. It's just that is deflating. And again, I don't see the people on that. I don't even know who their head. I really, for the life of me, have no idea who their head coach is. Yeah. Is it Ron Rivera? It's Ron Rivera.
No, is it Ron Rivera? Washington.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have no idea who the Browns head coach is. Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know.
It's Kevin Stefanski, who was the dude over at the Vikings. Yeah, anyways, he's a nobody that's not going to be able to rally this team. So they're gonna end up going. He is the coach. That guy looks like a clown. They're going nowhere fast. But on the Ravens, yeah, for sure, man. I think all they can do is, again, handle what they got to handle in the regular season, but get to the playoffs and be ready to go. I think another bad playoff flame out. It's going to be a rough offseason for Lamar.
Yeah, they look tough, so we'll see. And obviously,
I'm pulling for him. Obviously,
all these takes, it's early, but
yeah,
you want to get off to a good start. And guys like Baker, I know he's not in a new system with a new coach and stuff like that, but he just looks really poor.
Looks terrible. Free OBJ.
Free OBJ.
How long before he starts becoming a problem?
Because he starts getting on the mic.
He's a little bit temperamental.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. He continues to not get the rock and get overthrown.
Hey man, at least that bad loss, takes away the story about him getting shit on his chest.
Yeah, that kind of went by the wayside.
It did.
So we'll see. All right, let's move over to NBA. Bubble alert. Game 7. Game 7. Wow. How did we get here? The Clippers are up 3-1. They are now not up 3-1. It's now 3-3. Game 7 tonight. They tried to sneak in game 6 because they thought the Clippers were just going to roll those boys. Like, yeah, we'll put this shit on at noon for week 1 of the NFL.
In the middle of the slate.
Like, that's probably, if you want to talk about the worst slot in history, go up against week 1 NFL noon kickoffs.
Yeah, forget about it.
No, I don't know if anybody watched that.
I had no idea that game was on.
Yeah, so they tried to sneak that in, and the Clippers blew another 19-point lead. They seem to get lackadaisical. I had a conversation with our boy Jay Hollow with our Sports and Shoes TV. And I want to bring you in on this because I thought this was interesting. Is it time to look at Doc? Like, hey, what's going on here, bro? Like, Dallas pushing y'all when they shouldn't have. Y'all are up 18, 19, 20 points in multiple different games. Same thing with the Nuggets. And in your history, we've seen you blow a couple 3-1 leads. Does more of this need to fall at Doc's feet? Or is it one of those things where he gets the W today? It's all forgotten about. They shouldn't even be in this situation, right?
Yeah, I don't think he feels heat only because he's like, dude, I think in their like organizational hierarchy, he's like number 2. Like he's like the team president, not only the coach, he's the team. Like he's up there. Like he is like has a direct line to Ballmer type shit. There's nobody else that he needs to talk to make any decisions. So I think he's safe in that regard. But yeah, I mean, it's on coaching, man. It's on the players, right? You can't blow a 19-point lead and blame it on the coach all the way. But without having watched that game and knowing what specifically they were doing wrong, when I hear 19-point lead blown, it's like, yeah, coach didn't call the timeout when he needed to and readjust. Didn't stop the bleeding, right? Didn't do something about who I'm assuming it was probably Jokic down the stretch just killing him. Yeah, that falls on Doc Rivers. The only flip side is like he does have a new team every single year. So again, when we talk about continuity, he doesn't necessarily have it with this squad. So I don't know if that washes away a 19-point comeback loss. But at the same time, like I don't think he's gonna get fired at the end of the year if they lose tonight. Like I think he's safe.
Yeah, no,
I don't see any situation in which they relieve him on his duties. But if you're asking, like, does he deserve some of the blame in this? Absolutely. Just like he deserves the credit if they win. So it can't have it both ways. You can't be a great coach when you win and not be there when you lose. So yeah, for sure. Like he gets the blame on this.
I'll say this. He definitely deserves some blame because they should not be in this situation. I saw it in the Dallas series. I've seen it in this series where they're up a boatload of points. Let me say this. Let me take a step back. From what I've seen from the Clippers is that when they give up, they can be up 18 points, give up 2 threes in a bucket, and all of a sudden they're like in shambles. They don't know what to do. They can't take a quick punch back. They just like look lost and they start to scramble. And Doc sits back and is like, he's on that let them figure it out tip. Don't look at me for a timeout. Like, well, I'm not calling a timeout. Y'all better figure this shit out.
That's that Phil Jackson.
Yeah, but I don't understand. His team is not built like that, though. It's obvious. They've shown you multiple times in the Dallas series and in the Nuggets series that they will completely relinquish 15, 16, 17-point leads. And then now you're in a dogfight again. Forget about giving up 16-point leads. They're giving up 16-point leads and going down 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they lost by 13.
Yeah, like it's not like they're blowing 15, 16-point leads and then losing the game by a bucket. These dudes this shit's a 30, 40 points flip.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that could be helped with Doc coming in, timeout, slowing the ball down, be like, yo, listen, this is what we got to do. Hey, I'm going to say this. It's on him to do that. And God forbid Kawhi Leonard has a bad game. Like, he's not allowed to have a bad game.
No, their team can't survive with him having a bad game.
That's what I'm saying, right? And Doc doesn't really help him with that when they, bro, you got to put these games away, period, point blank. And mind you, tonight the Clippers might come out and win by 17, right? But you shouldn't even be in this situation. You shouldn't be getting pushed to an extra game. And like we said, with the Lakers out over there relaxing, just waiting for y'all to show up.
Yeah, Bron is super big, chilling, resting his 37-year-old body, loving every single fucking part of this. Exactly. And that was so 2 things. Number one, this was my problem with the Clippers all year and the love that they were getting. So many people just thought it was a foregone conclusion that the Clippers were going to roll. And I'm just like, yo, this team is brand new. This is a disjointed season, right? Again, I'll say it again. Continuity, they have none. And everybody just expected them to come in here and roll. And I was just like, yo, like pump the brakes a little bit. Number one, the Dallas series showed you when they play against a scrappy, resilient team that just doesn't give a fuck, like the Dallas Mavericks with Luka launching bombs from all over the place.
And talking shit,
they have a problem. When they play against an ultra-confident Denver Nuggets team with Jamal Murray is good. He's fine going 2 for 16. That's fine as long as he gets his 16 up, right? Jokic, skilled big man. He's coming to play, right? Ready to go.
He's so nice.
Porter Jr. can get you a bucket when he wants to. He should really stop giving interviews, but he can get you a bucket when he wants to. Like he's wild, boy.
Thanks.
So and Mike Malone's a good coach. Like he's a good coach. This is a scrappy, not your traditional scrappy team in which they're fighting and clawing, but they're offensively scrappy team. Because you see what I'm saying? Like they're an offensively scrappy team, just like the Dallas Mavericks. And you can't let these teams hang around because a team like Denver can erase a 19-point deficit because they have the skilled players to do it. So, yeah, that's on Doc. Offense. That's on Doc. And to your point, Kawhi Leonard cannot have a bad game. Paul George needs to have a big game. I would not be surprised at all if they lost tonight. Would not be. I'm not. It's not like I think that the projections on this series were crazy. I know hindsight's 2020, but I probably should have had some action on Denver because they were giving them no shot. And Denver, since we've got in the bubble, has been a scrappy offensive squad. Well,
listen, think about this. Since game 1, Denver's coming off a game 7 at Utah, so they're gassed. They play game 1 and they get blown out.
Off a crazy Utah series, right? Like you don't recover that series in one day, and that's all they had.
So they come out 1 day later, a day off, and then 2 days after the series concludes, they play one of the best teams in the league, in the Clippers, and they get their doors blown off. Since then, I mean, they've won 3 or 4 or 3 or 5. So, like, they showing you like what time it is. It's now you say that you wouldn't be surprised if they win, but what the line is 7.
I looked at it. Yeah, I looked at the M plus 260, right?
I believe I didn't look at the money line because I
which is crazy. How are they still plus 260?
What do you mean? Because
you just said it themselves. They won 3 out of 5 games.
Listen,
It's a lot of hype.
You know what a line is.
Yeah.
A line is to get even money on both sides. So like
So they're
obviously
like, ooh,
they got folks like you looking at Denver.
No, I'm not touching it, but it's just if I was, that type of guy, 2 + 260 is tasty. It's tasty. It's tasty.
It's what do you think happens?
I've chilled. I ate off of Miami and Boston, so I'm good off this series. But I think the Clippers win. I think the Clippers blow the doors off of them if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But if they don't, there's not going to be any shock in me for everything that we just talked about. It doesn't seem like this is a team that plays with urgency.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this: if you a Lakers fan, you better get your Nuggets shit on tonight.
Oh yeah,
and get your virtual fan on.
Bron might not be worried though, man.
Yeah,
they might not be worried. They're disposing folks. They're disposing folks.
They do not want. They rather see the Nuggets 10 out of 10 times than the Clippers. So
of course. But they're out here disposing folks. LeBron chilling. LeBron sitting back is a scary thing, man. It's just like every other playoffs. LeBron takes care of it in 5 and sits back and lets everybody else beat each other up.
Yeah,
it's the same story.
It's so unnecessary.
What more do we need to see? Why are we not talking more about the Lakers? It's crazy to me.
It's unnecessary.
LeBron James, man. Every year it happens. He wins. You get scared because it's game 1 of whoever the fuck he's playing. It's kind of scary. It's like, oh, is this the year that LeBron is going to go? No, because the next 4 games they dominate, and then he's sitting at the crib drinking a nice dry Italian.
Lakers.
Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you right now?
Lakers minus 150 to win the title.
I got him. I'm great. I got him at plus 450. So twice. So holla at me. It's all good, bro. I got nothing to worry about, man. Hey,
I don't know about it. We'll see.
It's okay. We haven't known about it all year. They keep advancing. I'm happy. I'm confident with that.
The Lakers is because of Rondo. If you really want to know, it's my favorite. It's my favorite point guard.
Shout out, Rajon. So let's see though, man. I really I wouldn't. If someone told me they took the Nuggets at plus 260, I wouldn't look at them like they were crazy. I'd be like, you're a bold individual.
Bold. You got heart.
You got a lot of heart.
Real quick, I know we're running over time, but we got to touch the Eastern Conference Finals real quick. This should be a doozy.
Love it. Coaching matchup.
My heart tells me Boston's a better team. My heart tells me Boston is going to win the series. But my heart also is reminding me that Jimmy Butler on the other team.
Not going. Still ain't got a haircut. Ain't shaved.
Jimmy is not going for this shit.
Not at all.
So like whatever he needs to do, if he needs to get in Jaylen Brown's pocket, he will.
He will.
If he needs to get in Jaylen Brown's pocket or Jason Tatum's pocket, he will.
Available.
The only thing I think that can hurt Miami is that Marcus Smart is going to be in Goran Dragic's ass.
Yeah.
And Goran Dragic was a big part of why they beat up on Milwaukee.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I think first off, you're 100% right on Jimmy Butler. He's 100% ready for this. He's available. And the thing that I love about Jimmy is Jimmy can go 3 for 16. Fuck it, he'll go like 3 for 12 because he's not if he's not shooting the ball well, he'll stop shooting.
Yeah, he was.
And still have a major impact on a basketball game. Right? Like he does not need to score. Yep. He'll let other people score. He's going to play defense. He's going to make huge plays. He's going to bring the attitude, the toughness, the aggression. Jimmy Butler's handprints are all over this team. Like he is an Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley guy. His DNA is in this team. This team is scrappy. This team is extremely talented. They're deep and they're very well coached. I see what you mean with Tatum. I see what you mean with Brown. Those guys are matchup nightmares. Marcus Smart is going to be ready to play. He's going to get in Dragic's ass.
But this is the thing. Like mentioning all those options makes me nervous for Miami because Jimmy is going to be gassed. And they need Jimmy to score 15, 16 points.
But they got other guys. They got Goran. They got Kendrick. He can dust Kendrick Nunn off the bench. Kendrick Nunn was a 20-point scorer in the regular season. Yeah. Kelly Olynyk is in the deep bench. Kelly Olynyk has had huge game 7s. He won a game 7 for the Celtics against the Wizards a couple years ago. So like when you start looking at Miami, they're pretty deep with guys they don't even use. So like Olynyk's one of those dudes in the right matchup. He can create a matchup problem for guys, right? Miami has matchup problems, and Spo is a good coach. Like that's the thing. He knows how to look at his lineup and say, okay, like who would have thought out of nowhere he just starting Dragic in the playoffs? Kendrick Nunn started the entire regular season. You get to the playoffs, and Spo's like, you know what? Let me pull up Goran right now. And it changes their entire thing. And Nunn is cool.
And it coming from Spoelstra, I was just gonna say Nunn is like, bet.
Fine.
Like, okay. Hey,
cool.
let's do what we gotta do here.
And he might pull him out for this series and be like, hey, Jimmy's getting locked up. We need some instant offense. Kendrick Nunn, go in there and do your thing. I'm not taking anything away from Boston either. Boston's got a whip, and Brad Stevens is a hell of a coach. And I think Kemba is really the X factor in that series because I don't know who Miami has that's going to be able to lock up on Kemba.
That's what lock Kemba.
Yeah. So Kemba's a gamer, and we know he's built for this.
Kemba lock Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba's built for this. Yeah. But if I had to take mine, I'm going Miami in 7. I think we got 7 hard-fought games. I think we have the best series of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be. I was gonna say it's
gonna be great
of Toronto, but it's gonna be really, really good.
Where are you at?
I got Boston in 7 as well.
Okay.
Or you said Miami. I got Boston in 7.
I want Jimmy Butler to win a title so bad.
Yeah, me too.
I would just love them.
At least get to the finals.
Oh my God, so much validation for him because I feel like he has been shat on by a lot of people for just wanting to go out and play hard and. I don't want to hear anything about the attitude and none of that shit, dude. Dude, you go play with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins and tell me how you feel.
Right. Facts.
Because Jimmy Butler is all heart. Those dudes are no heart. And he had to see that every day. Yeah, he's like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm going to go into practice and dominate these guys and demand a trade.
Right.
And now he's in Miami. Yeah, love it.
I got Boston in 7. It's going to be a really good series, though. Just like we were excited to watch Toronto. And that series gave us a bunch of fun ass moments.
Shout out to Toronto. Hey, salute the Toronto Raptors, man.
Yeah, we got the salute coming up. So say that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be a good series. I think at the end of the day, Boston has too many players that can get their own shot by themselves when it comes down to stretch and that are not afraid to take it. Jason Tatum, Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart is not he's not your first option, but he's not scared.
In his mind, he's your first option.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, I think for Miami, guys that are getting their own shot by themselves off the dribble are Goran Dragic. None, but he's young, never been in like this type of massive pressure spot.
Jimmy.
Yeah. And apparently, well, I don't know, man. Jay Crowder might be Dan Marley now, so
I don't know what's up with Jay Crowder, man. He's also got the greenest 3-point light I've ever seen in my life. He shoots 15 threes a game.
Jay Crowder might be Larry Bird now, so I don't. Maybe that's the X factor.
I think he watched that episode of No Ketchup. Ever since I told him he wasn't a 3-and-D guy, he's been on fire.
Ever since you said that, he's literally gone ballistic.
Shout out our boy on Twitter who reminds me of this every day.
So it'll be a good series, but I got Boston purely off. I think they got too many options on the offensive end when it comes down to the stretch and they need a basket. That's the only reason. But it should be a good ass series.
Yep.
Let's close the show. Give out some salutes. Show some love to some people. Nick, go ahead, man. You said you felt like you got something for Toronto.
Well, I got two. I'll give you my first one is going to be the Toronto Raptors, the entire organization, Nick Nurse, all those guys, man, just scrappy team, hard fought team. I thought that they were done down 3-1, but this team came back, took it to 7 games. Obviously overmatched in that series, but man, shout out to them, man. Shout out to all those boys, and shout out to Masai, and shout out to Norman Powell, gamer. I don't know where they find some of these guys. Just class act organization, and that's the organization. When I watch that team play, that's where I want the Bulls to be. Just look at it, man. Like no lottery picks, and just dominating. And shout out Kyle Lowry. Give that man his flowers.
Yeah, facts. He's
he's just a gamer, dude.
Listen, this is the thing. I'm gonna tell you because I agree with you. Give him your flowers. Give him his flowers, but it's hard for the public to give him his flowers with all this extra shenanigans that he does.
John Stockton got his flowers, and he was Mr. Extra Shenanigans.
John Stockton, one of the best. passing pure point guards ever. So
if Kyle Lowry was on your team, you would absolutely positively love him.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. But that flopping shit and some of the dirty plays with undercutting people and doing that, it's real.
Sure.
And his complaining to the refs, that shit's real. The flopping is real.
But we can't praise Marcus Smart in one breath. We can't praise Marcus Smart and then give Kyle Lowry shit for flopping.
No, they both are terrible with that shit. It's ridiculous. And I think a big, massive reason why people hated and still hate LeBron was because they remember when his theatrics were starting to get a little ridiculous. He doesn't do it like he used to. There was times, bro, do you remember when LeBron used to get tapped and fall on the floor and shit?
Yeah, yeah.
It was like, bro, you weigh 270. Stop with this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but Kyle Lowry, problem. Gamer, anything they needed, he was going to do.
He's a dog.
Salute Kyle Lowry.
Give me Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler, and I'll win a title.
Yeah, maybe. No cap. And Bertans.
Yeah, and Bertans. Davis, just stand in the corner.
And Bertans. Also, really quick, since we're on the Raptors, salute Fred VanVleet.
Pay that man.
Hey, I was gonna say, mission accomplished. The bread is on the way. So
healthy. Pays that man his money.
Hey, the bread.
It's on
Fred,
its way.
The bread's on the way, sir.
Hey, Fred gonna buy the biggest crib in Rockford you ever seen in your life.
Fred, enjoy the summer enjoy whatever this is, the off season, the fall.
Yeah,
the bread is on the way. So.
It's on the way.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Salute Fred VanVleet.
Shout out to the 815.
Yes. The money's on the way, sir.
It's on the way. Well done.
Messiah online.
Is this the Van Vliet residence?
Van Vliet. I'm looking for Fred Van Vliet.
This is Frederick.
Yeah, a courier sent me. I'm looking for Fred VanVleet.
So you have Chase or Bank of America?
Routing number, please.
Routing number, please. Yeah, shout out to him, man. Hope he gets a big deal. He will get a big deal and a gamer. And shout out to Toronto Raptors for 2020, man. Heart of a champion for sure. Great run, and I think they're going to be back next year. No problems.
Yes. Salute for me. Salute Ron Rivera dealing with cancer, getting cancer treatment at half of an NFL game is
Riverboat
crazy.
Ron.
Didn't even give the halftime speech. Was getting treatment. They came back for him and won down 17-0. I think they gave up they beat the Eagles 24-0 in the second half to win 24-17. Shout out Ron Rivera. Salute, big dog. Get well soon. Hope everything goes well. That's all I got, man. You got another salute?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out the bandana bandit, Kyler Murray, showing up in a big spot against the defending NFC champions.
Yes.
Big win. Another Knicks lock on the board. You know me and the Arizona Cardinals, baby. I see the Arizona Cardinals and a number I like, I just eat.
They play.
Yeah, they play. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a quarterback that's going to cover a lot of spreads this year. I just want to go ahead give people some free game this year. Backdoor cover guy for sure. Yeah, big game by them, man. Big win. Huge fan of Kyler Murray. Obviously, huge fan of the black quarterback.
Shout out DeAndre Hopkins.
Shout out DeAndre Hopkins. 14 catches. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm very sick right now. So yeah, shout out Kyler Murray, man.
Give
Not Cliff Kingsbury, but shout out Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Yes. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. Shout out the Cardinals. Good W. One more salute. Salute John Wall, man. Keep having fun, my boy. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing whatever you want.
He's just having a good time, bro.
Hey, don't let these folks tell you wrong. Just don't be on my team.
And if you ever get down on yourself, John, just remember you got 120 million still owed. It's all good. They can't take that from you, baby.
Bread's on the way.
It's on the way.
It's on the way. Don't worry about it. Tell your boy stop recording you, though.
Yeah, real talk. Lame.
Gee, what is that about?
What is that about, dog? And posting on the internet, it's like, yeah, John has had a rough time already.
Y'all know this guy is hurt and a superstar in the NBA. Like, I don't know, man.
Keep your circle tight, but
I don't get it. I have a hard time understanding because I've been around athletes and that shit would never cross my mind.
Why would you want to record? Yeah.
I've been around athletes smoking tree, doing all types of shit, strip club, whatever you want. And nobody is recording and putting it on the internet. That is just like insane that would even like happen. So
yeah, John Wall is allowed to go out and have a good time, man. And I also want to say, man, I'm big on the John Wall comeback season this year, man. Don't forget,
big year. Don't forget
how quick they forget. Healthy John Wall, problematic.
How quick they forget. Healthy John Wall is problematic. Is Brad Beal going to give him his team back though?
No, it's Brad Beal's team, but I mean, John Wall's going to do his thing, you know.
It's Brad Beal's team now, though. So
that's
a whole nother issue.
But they got Davis, right? Or is Davis off the Wizards? Is he on the Spurs? Well, who does Davis Bertans play for?
Oh, he's ready to. I think it's a free agent. That's why he opted out. He's new.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is a free. He opted out. He saw the bread. He's like, hold on,
I'm not coming back to.
I can't take this to Orlando. The torch is too big. Nah.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to Euro.
I'm good.
For Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. That's no catch up for what is it? September 15th, 2020. Week 2 of the NFL is coming up. We got game 7 tonight. Make sure you lock in YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, subscribe, tell the homies. No catch up. Sports talk via Chicago. Let's get it.